Hi, today is the 8th of May 2024. I don't want to make this video particularly long because there's two things that I just want to talk about and just want to tell so I kind of have it for myself. And because they kind of were just important things for me to notice about myself. So the first thing is, on Saturday evening I came home from work and I went to bed. Like always, when I go to bed, I say goodnight to my parents, and I wanted to say goodnight to Dad, but then he said, just 1 minute, I'll be out to you in a second, because he was in the middle of typing and working on his computer. And then I went out thinking like, okay, he's probably gonna come pretty quickly because usually he does just take another minute or so and then he comes to say goodnight. But I was like, oh, if this is gonna take too long, I know I'm gonna have a breakdown or whatever, it's gonna exhaust me because I was already so exhausted. I felt like I just needed to sleep. And so Mom said goodnight to me. She left my room and then I just sat there for a few seconds and I was still kind of patient but noticing I was really tired. And then like a few minutes passed by and I could feel myself becoming more and more exhausted while waiting. And I also noticed how Eckhart Tolle was like, when you need to wait, don't wait, but be present in this moment. So I was trying to become present and noticing this moment and just stop this waiting, like, oh, there's something to come and I'm waiting, and because that exhausts you. But for a few seconds it worked, but I then kind of lost my patience because it all kind of felt like it was just too much and I just had to sleep. I don't know if maybe you know this feeling where it's just like you have to sleep, like it's just too much, you need to go to sleep. And that was kind of it for me, even though, I mean, yeah, there is a lot going on and that is exhausting me. So I had 3 days of work in a row, 2.5 basically, and not that that was too much or whatever, but it's also other things, like I'm going to Spain in less than 2 weeks for 5 weeks and I'll be by myself for 4 of those weeks in Spain, and the fears that come with that, also the excitement but the unknown, and just feeling already kind of missing my dog and kind of being afraid that I'm gonna be away from her for 5 weeks of her life, of my life, that we're gonna be apart. And then also in the past I was often really afraid when I was alone somewhere or away from my family. I didn't feel well and I just felt like I needed to go home. I felt like I couldn't stay here any longer. I just need my family, my safe space, and so on. So I'm afraid that that's going to come up, but also I know like I'm going to handle it, and that's what I want to learn. I want to learn that, how to deal with it. And then I'm also like, I hope when I go to Spain, I'm going to achieve what I want to achieve, or it's going to be the way that I imagine it to be, which is be with myself, be with my emotions and thoughts, and then learn and grow from them and actually see myself, become more aware of myself and what's going on with me, so that I can really find myself again and be myself and be stable and present and centered and just know what is really important in this lifetime. Yeah, and then at work there's always these thoughts that are so afraid to do something wrong, and I feel so embarrassed when I do something wrong, or I beat myself up, and I have these thoughts that are like almost paranoid, like constantly looking out for things that I did wrong or that are gonna happen, and I'm gonna fail or whatever, like so afraid that I'm gonna do something wrong, and then also afraid that things are going to happen to me which I can't handle, and I feel like I can't handle that and I'm going to die, or it's just too much that I can't handle it and I'm breaking apart and don't know myself anymore and don't see myself anymore, because that's what happened in my school time. And since a while now, I'm so afraid that things are going to happen to me which I can't handle, or that I'm going to do things wrong, which is kind of, I mean, it's not a new thing because I had that in school, but in this period of my life, it's a new thing. It wasn't there all the time. And now since a couple of months, it is there, and I'm trying to see what it is, but it's also like that's exhausting me. And I'm not like at home where it's like, oh, I'm fine and I know I'm safe and it's fine if I make mistakes, like whatever. I know that I'm not a stupid person. But then at work, I'm scared of like judgments and be like embarrassed in front of people, like that things are going to happen in front of people and they're going to judge me, or I'm going to feel really embarrassed and don't know how to act anymore in front of them and feel weird and just need to escape that moment but can't. So it's again like losing control and not being able to do anything about it and not being able to escape that moment, which is also such a vital thing about my control issue. It's not being able to escape that moment. You're literally stuck in it and you have to go through it. Anyways, those are a couple things where I just felt like it was too much and I needed sleep. And also like I wasn't really able to sleep in for the last couple of weeks, and sleep for me is very important. I go to sleep quite early. I get loads of hours of sleep, and sleeping in is so important to me as well, to actually regain energy and be okay for the day. Whereas when I need to wake up from the alarm every day, I notice how I'm not super stable inside myself. And for the past couple of weeks, I had to wake up very early quite a lot. And there was just the Sunday basically that I could sleep in, but often I don't want myself to sleep in too long, because then I'm like, oh, that's my only day off and with my family, so I want to enjoy it. Yeah, anyways, so while I was still sitting in bed and just waiting for Dad, I was like, oh, I should call him and like just call him to say goodnight. But then I was like, no, I don't want to call him in case like he feels pressurized and then is gonna like shout at me for like to not call him and to be patient, and he's gonna come or whatever, that he's gonna snap. I was afraid that was gonna happen, because that's what happened in the past when I felt so exhausted I just had to go to sleep, but I was still waiting for him or for anyone. And then if I would call him basically begging, please say goodnight to me, I need to go to sleep or else I'm gonna burst, he would then like shout at me to like be patient or to wait for him or like be more friendly, even though that's not the way I meant it, obviously. I was just so exhausted I had to go to sleep. So those were memories from the past that were kind of keeping me from calling him. And then I also was like, Leona, just get up and go back into his office and ask again. But I was also afraid to do that in case he would shout at me. And also I just felt so exhausted. I didn't want to get back out of bed again and just wanted to go to sleep. So then all of these thoughts, all of the things I knew I should do, like Eckhart Tolle said, these things, just be present. Also, not that I should change anything about the state I was in, but just be present with it. It was just like, no, I don't want to be present with it. I want to go to sleep. Just all of these things and more was just a lot. And it wasn't just that moment where it was a lot, but that's where it kind of all came together, and I just needed to sleep. And I just already told myself I'm allowed to sleep as long as I want the next day, even if I sleep until noon. It's like I'm allowing myself to sleep in because I need that right now. And so when I was just so exhausted, all of it came together and all these thoughts, and I was waiting for him, and I kind of couldn't find a solution of what I should do, how I should get him to come over to me. It was just a lot, and I just had to cry. And it wasn't really a painful crying, it was more like a really soothing crying. Just noticing all these things that are going on at the moment, and noticing how, yeah, it's just a lot. And not that it's like overwhelmingly much, but it's just a lot. And there's a lot of fear inside of me and pain, and just noticing all that was just nice. And then allowing myself to cry about it was so soothing. And I didn't need to tell myself to stop crying or whatever, and I didn't feel like I needed to stop or was gonna stop or wanted to stop. I just cried. And then Mom noticed that I was crying because my door was still open. And then she went into Dad's office and just told him, Leona isn't feeling so well. She's just like exhausted and would like to sleep. Could you please say goodnight to her? And so then he right away came into my room and just asked if everything was okay and why I was crying. And I just said, I really just need to go to sleep now. And then he asked again, so should I just leave? Is everything okay now? And I was like, yeah, I just really need to go to sleep. I just feel very exhausted. And so he respected that and left. And then before he closed the door, Mom just asked, Leona, should we close the door now? And I said yes. And so it was nice to see how they were caring about me, and it was so lovely that I was able to sleep then. And the next day he asked me if everything was okay and why I was crying, or if it was about him, if I cried because of him. Because he often blames himself then. And I was like, no, it wasn't really about you. It was just I really was so exhausted. And he was like, yeah, but you can come into my office and just tell me, okay, you want to say good night right now, so that, and I'll stop what I'm doing. And I'm like, yeah, but I just know from the past when I did that often, you like raised your voice and that would scare me. And so I didn't want that to happen. And then he nodded and he understood that, and he said, yeah, just the next time, just come to me and just say that you really need to say goodnight now. And then he'll say goodnight, because that's his main priority then, he said. So anyways, when they left my room that evening, and I could finally go to sleep, I didn't even do my usual stuff, like my meditation and reading a bit in my books and really pray properly. I just prayed that I was protected and my angels and guides were with me. And usually I pray way more, but that was just what I needed right then. And I just, I usually fall asleep when putting on meditation on YouTube. But I didn't even do that. I just laid down in bed, put in my earplugs, and just went to sleep. How I fell asleep was that I felt I needed comfort and a safe place. And right away, where that needing for comfort led me was, of course, to that property that we lost and the lake, where I was so present and so safe and felt so much comfort, and I knew I could get through anything, do everything, do anything. And I was so in that moment, just with everything that there was no fear. Everything faded out, everything negative was gone. There was no fear of what was gonna happen, or imagining these scenarios and then being afraid of that already, and being afraid to go to work. There was none of that, because I was so present and I was really noticing what was around me. I was feeling this plant around beside me I was feeling its presence through my own presence. And I was feeling the lake and really noticing that it's there. You know, sometimes you have these moments, it's like, oh, this is right there beside me, or it's kind of like you wake up and notice what's actually beside you. And that's what I was experiencing every day. It was like really experiencing the depth and the aliveness of this plant or this bench or this lake. Really seeing that it's there right now, it's existing, it's right here with me. It's actually real. And that just put such an aliveness in my body that was kind of unshakable. I was so exhausted that what I needed was just a place of absolute comfort, warmth, light, happiness, and comfort. And I just completely closed my eyes, and I could feel myself lying on the bench that I always sat on, looking out at the lake. This heaven on earth, this beautifulness, this absolute entire world that was my being, that was myself, and my absolute comfort. This unshakableness, this irreplaceableness, uniqueness. I could really feel myself lying there on that bench, because I mean, I was there in real life, but I could really feel, it was as if I was there right then. It felt like I was there right at that lake, lying on the bench, and just with this immense comfort. Like everything about you is wrapped in this immense comfort. And that's how I fell asleep, and I was so grateful for that. And I was like, oh my God, I can go there anytime. I can have that anywhere, anytime, whenever I need or want. And I'm just realizing right now, I used to say that all the time when standing at the lake. I used to take it in knowing that this is here whenever I need it. So often I even intentionally looked at the lake and told myself, this is here right now with me. And I'm taking this in for whenever I need it or want it. I have it right here. I used to say that so often when standing at the lake, taking it in for any future moment that I might need it. And right there, I needed it, and I gave that to myself. And what a wonder that something like that can happen, and that every single person can give that to themselves. It's so amazing. So that was number one, of course. It's gonna be a longer video than I thought it was gonna be. Second one is what happened yesterday evening. Mom and I were watching a movie, and the movie was about loss. It's called Endless, and it's on Netflix. It's about the pain when losing someone and what really happens to you, the emotions you go through, the thoughts, and the pain. And it was quite emotional, and afterwards I just sat down beside Akela to say goodnight to her. And I think the movie just triggered something inside of me, because since I lost the house and the property, I felt like I wasn't fully alive, because I wasn't fully present. I couldn't be here because I was so afraid that whenever I would enjoy something for even 1 second, it could get ripped away from me, and I didn't know if I could survive that. And I think something like this is exactly what Elena Gilbert says in The Vampire Diaries. And I remember reading that line and hearing her say that, and just being so touched, because I knew exactly what she was talking about. So for months after I lost the house and the property, I wasn't actually really here, fully here right now. I was always somewhere else in my mind and my thoughts, because I was so afraid to let go. I was so afraid to be present, because I knew it could be ripped away from me in seconds, and I didn't know if I could survive any more pain and any more loss. But it was killing me to not be able to fully notice and feel my dog Akela beside me and around me, because we always had such a deep connection when we went for walks on the property, and the time span between after my depression and when we lost the property was the best time in my life. And and I built such a deep connection with her. I was so present with her. I could really notice that she was there. Again, this feeling like, oh my God, this is here right now with me. This is happening. This is right beside me. You just notice this, and I could fully notice her aliveness and her being, and notice how I was right there with her. So it was this connection which is irreplaceable, and you can only get this connection when you're fully present with what is. So everything else didn't matter. It was this moment that mattered, this moment that was everything you ever needed or wanted. It was literally everything. And after that, after we lost the house and the property, and I couldn't let go, I couldn't be present with her, I couldn't feel her and notice her, and I was trying so hard to get back to that state that I was in, to get back to this presentness, this present state, and I just couldn't. No matter what I tried, I couldn't, and I couldn't let go either because I was so afraid. And I'm still not fully back there. It's much better, I'm much more surrendered, and I'm much more accepted and understand it now. And sometimes I still am so sad that it's not fully like that anymore, and that I still can't fully feel her. But I know that I'm noticing her to the most that I can, and I love her to the most that I can, and that's what I want. I love her so much, like I can't even describe it, and I can't imagine living without her. I can't imagine what I would go through if I were to lose her. I'm like, I can't do that. It's not possible. How can I live on? How can I ever see myself again? I mean, that's what I'm imagining, how horrible it's gonna be, and that I won't be able to see her then anymore and feel her right beside me, that I'm gonna have to live on without her being there every day when I come home from work in the mornings, and being able to say goodnight to her, go for walks with her. She puts a smile on my face every single day, and being able to cuddle with her, love her, just be around her. When I was with her and petting her, the feeling that the movie had triggered, which was inside of me already, came out very strongly when I was with Akela then, because I could feel what I felt the couple months after we lost the property and the house, which was that I kind of felt like I had already lost Akela. It felt like she wasn't really there anymore because I couldn't really feel her. I couldn't notice her, so to some extent it felt like I had already lost her and she was already gone. But of course it was me who was gone. So it felt like I had already sort of experienced her death, and then I understood why I felt so hurt and in so much pain all these months when being around her, because it felt like I wasn't actually there with her. It felt like she wasn't there, she was just gone. And I was going through grief. I was grieving. I was in so much pain all the time. And yesterday, for the first time, I understood what that pain was and what I was actually going through. And then when I noticed that pain and that I, for these months, felt like I had lost her and she was gone to some extent, that's when the realization came up of like, she's here. She's actually here. She's here right now with me. She's right beside me. She's not gone. She's not lost. She is right here in my arms. You know the feeling when you lose someone or something and you just imagine if you were to see them again, that what you would do is just hug them and just say, oh my God, you're actually here right now. And realize like, oh my God, this is actually real. You're here. You're right here with me. Oh my God. And like the joy you would feel is like indescribable, and it's just extended to its most. Like, oh my God, like nothing else matters. You just have this thing or this person again that you love so much, and they're right here. They came back to you, basically. So that feeling of like having lost something and then it shows up again and you're like, oh my God, you're actually here right now, realizing this is real. I'm here with you. I actually have you. You're right here in my arms, and nothing else in the world matters anymore. This is all that matters. And that is what I felt yesterday evening, because that is what I went through these past few months. And yesterday evening was the first time I could fully realize how I felt like I had lost her, but then realize how now more and more I'm able to see her again. I'm actually realizing she's right here with me. And I was always beating myself up so much for not fully being with her and not fully noticing her, because I was like, I'm wasting time. I'm wasting the time that we have together, because we don't have an infinite amount of time together. And I'm wasting it because I can't feel her. I'm wasting it in feeling like she's already gone. And I felt like she was already gone because somehow I didn't allow myself to be present. And so I was like, oh, this is how it's gonna be until she dies. I'm not gonna be able to see her or whatever. And so it felt like she was already sort of gone because I wasn't present with her. I couldn't be. I was so afraid. And I can't describe how much I love her and how much she means to me. And how when I'm present with her, how nothing else matters. And I just know what is real. I know what is true, and I know what is truly important in this world. It's like being present with her for just 1 second teaches me everything that I need to know in this world. Yeah, it all makes so much sense. And even when I can't feel her and I'm afraid to like go to work because I couldn't actually properly say goodbye to her, because I can't really notice that I'm saying goodbye because I'm not fully present and I can't fully see her, and then I'm afraid to go to work in case something happens and I can't handle it. And when I used to be present with her, I said goodbye knowing that I'm gonna go to work now, but I'm gonna come back and see her again. And even if I'm at work, she still exists. She is real. And like I said, that taught me everything I needed to know. So I was fine going to work. I had everything, I knew everything that I needed to know, and I was fine. And after that period of time, when I couldn't feel her anymore, knowing that she was alive didn't help me anymore. It didn't help me get through my day and help me get through these horrible things. It was like my school time again, where nothing could take me out of it. Nothing could help me. I just went through this horribleness hoping that I would manage it, hoping that I would get out of it and somehow be able to handle it, but feeling like I can't. Feeling like, how am I ever supposed to live on? And that was scaring me so much, that I didn't have that anymore, that I didn't see her anymore, and was ruining it and was ruining time, wasting time. When I noticed this yesterday evening, I gave her such a big hug. I cuddled with her so hard, and I touched her and like her fur, and just noticed like she is here. She's an alive being. She's right here with me. She's right here, right now. She is, this is real. This, I'm alive. I'm with her. We're together. This will never go away. This will always be real. This will always be true, that I was with her, that I am with her. The same thing with with the property and the lake. I was there, so that's why it helped me to find comfort, because it was real. It still is real. And because I was so present and everything faded out and I was just there with what is, there with what was, that's what made it so real and so authentic. And when I then said goodnight to her, which kind of hurt me because I was like, no, I don't want this moment to end. I always want to feel like she's here with me. I'm so scared that it's gonna go away again. I stood at the door, just looking at her, observing her, and she was just stretching and curling up, and I was like, she doesn't even know what's happening to me right now. She's just living on. She's so present. It's like, whatever, I'm just gonna go to sleep. It's so simple. But then I was there just looking at her, and there was a slight moment of intense presence where I was intensely aware of my surroundings and of her. What was there in that moment was my entire world. The living room, the couch, her lying on the couch, me standing at the door. It was total fulfillment. It was total presence and peacefulness. I was completely peaceful for just a second, fully noticing that she is here. She's real, she's alive, and I'm right here with her. And so everything else didn't matter. Everything else faded away because there was nothing else. What was there right then was my entire world and entire peacefulness. I was so present and it was so peaceful. And when I then had to go, noticing my thoughts, okay, I'm gonna go to bed, I need to say goodnight, I'm gonna turn around and not see her anymore. I felt the pain again. No, I don't want this to end. I can't lose her, basically. I can't say goodbye and then feel like, oh, she's not here with me anymore. I feel like she's gone because she's not with me, because now I'm in bed in my room alone and she's not there. Which usually in the past I was fine because I knew she is real. She is still there, just not right there with me. And now because I'm not super present, I can't really notice, oh, she's still real, she's still there. It's like, no, she's gone. I can't have that. I don't want her to be gone. I need her. I'm afraid to say goodbye to her in case I don't feel like she's there anymore, even though she is. Yes, this video again is super long. Of course, I just can't stop talking. But it was important to me. It was too important. Yeah, realizations, learnings, whatever, and I'm very grateful. So at the end, when I also stood at the door and I noticed, oh, now like I have to leave and say goodbye and don't fully feel her anymore, I'm not fully present with her anymore, I also noticed thoughts going, okay, just be present, let go. But then the fear came again that if I let go, like Elena Gilbert said, if I just let go for 1 second, I'm afraid that she's gonna get ripped away from me, and I don't know if I can survive that. So I was like, be present, because I want to be present with her. I always want to feel her. I always want to notice that she's around me. But then my other part is like, no, I can't be. It's this in between, this back and forth, this no real solution really. I want the one thing, but I don't want the other thing. And one comes with the other. More importantly, I want to feel her and always be with her, because I don't want to waste a second. But another part of me is just so afraid to let go that I feel like I can't let go, and then I can't fully feel her, and I say goodbye quicker because I already feel the pain of losing her again, and I'm like, no, say goodbye quickly, leave, it's all fine, just ignore it. Not ignore it, but like, just, no, I can't handle that. There's no doubt in my mind that I do want to feel her with me. It's just the fear is so strong that I can't fully let go yet. The fear of everything being ripped away from me. Because that's what happened with the property and the house. But then when I'm like, okay, just go away quickly, just say goodnight. And I noticed again I wasn't like fully present. I didn't say goodnight properly or whatever because I couldn't. I hate myself and I beat myself up so much, and I feel like I'm in so much pain then. And the pressure also of feeling like I have to say goodnight to her properly to be okay, and to know I'm not wasting time, and I have to enjoy her, and I have to notice her presence, and I have to be with her so that I know I'm not wasting time. So when she dies, I'll know I didn't waste a second. So that pressure, and then noticing I can't fulfill that wish. I can't fulfill it. I can't do it that way because I'm so afraid. But also I'm too hard on myself, I guess, because I'm trying my best. I'm doing the best that I can. And I know that I love her so much, even if I can't feel it, even if I can't feel her presence. I know that I love her so much. This video shows it. This video describes it. There's no words for how much she means to me, how much she helped me, changed me, taught me, how much I love her and appreciate her, and I'm so grateful that she is with me, and she's always gonna be a part of me. She's always gonna be part of my life. She's always gonna be there with me because she is here with me now. Just like the property and the lake, they are always gonna be a part of me and my life and my story and my part of myself. And that no one can take away from me. That not even myself can take away from me. Akela is always gonna be a part of my life, of me. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and until the next time. Bye.